Unfortunately, today is the last day of Hanukkah. And I'm saying unfortunately because it's such a special holiday. And sometimes we don't really feel the power of the holiday. After Sukkot, a whole week you're sitting in a sukkah. 3 days before that you build the sukkah. You get the credit card bill, you see how expensive the sukkah and everything was. You feel the holiday. Same with Pesach. A whole month before Pesach, you're already cleaning. And then really the credit card bill for Pesach expenses. So it leaves a mark. But Hanukkah just comes in, you pay a couple shekels to get the oil, a few more shekels for the donuts, and then it zooms through, and that's it. And all you do is you sit a couple minutes next to the candles. So sometimes it is hard to really notice what's going on in Hanukkah. But we talked a lot about Hanukkah, we learned a lot of things, and I mentioned a couple times how the holiday itself has a very unique character, that the shine, the light, the spiritual light that shines on Hanukkah comes from a very high place. It's called Or Ganuz, the concealed light. And at the end of the day, we're all, whether it's done in an obvious way or not, maybe I'm aware of it or not, but in one type of a way, we're all looking for the redemption to happen. Some people it's a big part of their life. Some people it's still in a concealed way. But nevertheless, we're all part of the same generation, and we're all going to benefit from the coming of Mashiach Be'ezrat Hashem very soon. Now, we mentioned many times, especially when it's holiday time, how every holiday has a certain character trait that allows me to benefit from. So we mentioned how Pesach is the time when we got redeemed. So the energy that comes with Pesach and charges me for the rest of the year is the concept of leaving my limitation. We spoke about that a lot on Pesach. And Sukkot has a certain energy, Purim, each holiday has a certain energy that I can, if I tap into it, I charge my spiritual battery, and it should last me for the whole year. I specifically give the example with Pesach, because Pesach we left Mitzrayim, and I know Mitzrayim is a country, but really Mitzrayim is also a state of mind, of a state of limitation, that's things that limit me and put me in a level that I'm limited. And that can be something big and something small. But my life is full of limitations, and if I know how to go out of the limitation, then this is considered my Yetziat Mitzrayim, my going out of exile. So specifically on the night of Pesach, if I'm participating in the Leil Seder, all I need to do is follow the Leil Seder, make sure that I'm not eating chametz, and a few other rules, and I tap into this unique energy that will allow me that every time that I come to a challenge that puts me through a limitation, it will allow me to be able to rise above it and to fight it and to overpower it. So this is just about the holiday of Pesach, but every holiday has a certain character trait. And Hanukkah, we mentioned a couple times, that Hanukkah has the character trait of lighting up the darkness. Now, to see how it's connected to me, I like taking something that I learn and applying it. If I learn something and I don't apply it, then it beats the point. The reason why I like to learn is that I know what to do. If I just learn to say that I learned or to be smart so I can impress somebody, then it's really a waste of time. The Mishnah actually says in the Tractate Avot that I have to learn al menat lilmod, al menat la'asot ve'lelamed, is in order for me to learn, in order for me to do and to teach. And if I do that, then I really apply what my learning to the right place. If I learn and I don't apply it, then I'm missing the point. So in the mitzvah of Chanukah, there's a beautiful hint to really what one needs to do. First, we see that this mitzvah resembles a certain mitzvah that we had in the Beit HaMikdash. And the Beit HaMikdash, we had a mitzvah of lighting up the menorah. It was a big part of the service during the day, and it was done by the Kohen Gadol. It started by Aaron HaKohen, that he used to light the menorah twice, once in the morning, once in the twilight time, right when the sun goes down. And it was a big ceremony, and it was a very auspicious time. Now if we want to compare the two, then the menorah that they lit up, the Chashmonaim, when, the story is that the Chashmonaim entered the Beit HaMikdash, after 4 years they didn't have access to it. Now the time of the War of Chanukah was 214 years into the period of the Holy Temple. So just imagine, from 410 years, the temple is in Yerushalayim, and 4 years within that period, they're kind of like they're in Yerushalayim, but they got kicked out of the Beit HaMikdash. Can you imagine walking around and seeing Beit HaMikdash and you can't get in, and there's no services going on there? Just imagine, it's at least with us, it's destroyed, so we can't see it. Can you imagine walking around and seeing Beit HaMikdash and you can't go in? So for 4 years, now it's the same idea that we don't have Beit HaMikdash, but it is an eyesore to see that in our holy place is this toilet above it, and it's our holiest place in the world, and they're playing football there and barbecues. But I can just relate how it felt that they actually saw Beit HaMikdash and they couldn't get near it. So after 4 years of battles, finally they win and they go in, and they wanted to see what was left. Of course, they saw graffiti everywhere and everything was desecrated. And the first thing they want to do is, let's light the menorah. So they start looking around for oils. They found a lot of oil, but all the oil was impure, because the Yevanim, the Greek, they wanted to make sure that we can follow our mitzvot. So they went and made all the oil impure. And the way they made it is, if you touch the oil, it becomes impure. But they wanted to make sure that it will become impure, so because they didn't know if they, as human beings, will make it impure because of tumat met, because of the impurity of death. So they took a sheretz. Sheretz is a little animal that runs on the ground like a mouse, and they dipped in all the oils the sheretz to make sure that it makes it impure. So when the Chashmonaim found the pitcher, they wanted to light the menorah. And later on, of course, in the first year, they said, the miracle was the victory of the war. And of course, it was a miracle that they found the pitcher of oil. Later on, of course, they noticed that the miracle that the pitcher was lighting up for 8 days, but only a year later, that's when they decided to make a whole holiday out of it. From the reason, because they saw that this godly light, when I'm saying they, I'm talking about the sages of the generation, they saw that this godly light came back. So they made a holiday out of it. And that's why that's where they said, okay, let's light candles. Where the concept came from. And it resembles the menorah that we light in Beit HaMikdash. But there's not a lot, but a few differences between the menorah that was lit in the Beit HaMikdash to the menorah that we light. Besides that, the menorah that we light on Hanukkah has 8 branches, and the menorah in Beit HaMikdash has 7. But the menorah in Beit HaMikdash was lit inside the main room, in what's called the Heichal, the main hall. And the menorah we light outside. And if not outside, then it has to be pointing outside. But really, one should light the menorah outside in a courtyard, or you see many people, they light the menorahs on the street. And the menorah in Beit HaMikdash would be lit during the day, and in the morning and in the afternoon. And the menorah that we light is at night, after the sun goes down. And in the Beit HaMikdash, the menorah was always on the right side of the Kohen, and we light the menorah, it's on my left side, it has to be on my left side. So there's all sorts of differences between the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash and the menorah that we light in Hanukkah. We do know, I don't want to repeat so much, all the information over and over, but we do know that there's a strong connection between the holiday of Hanukkah and Mashiach. And we know that while the first Beit HaMikdash was in action, then Shlomo HaMelech built it, and there was peace in the world. That's one of the reasons why his name is Shlomo, because he brought shalom to the world. He brought peace. Everybody was at peace. And all the nations people from the nations used to come to the Beit HaMikdash, and they would benefit from the Beit HaMikdash. But they had to come to Beit HaMikdash. And we know that in the third and final Beit HaMikdash we're going to get very soon, all the nations will also benefit from it, but they don't have to come to Israel for that. They will receive what's called a godly revelation, and they don't even have to come to Beit HaMikdash. This is the difference between the first Beit HaMikdash and the third Beit HaMikdash, is the type of revelation, the godly revelation that we'll experience. Now, when we're looking at the hints of the mitzvah that we do, this is where I really learn what Hashem wants from me. Before we had a class here with the men, and we learned how a person should constantly be concentrated on Hashem, and everything has to be for Hashem. And a man has an obligation to learn Torah, and if he doesn't learn Torah, it's called bitul Torah, not applying my time to learn Torah. And of course, a lot of people will say, "But what do you want from me? I have to work for 9 hours. And I have to take care of my kids, and I have to help in the house, and all these, so I'm now failing in the sin of bitul Torah?" So as long as my actions are for the sake of Shamayim, then there's no bitul Torah there. There's no canceling the Torah. A man that has to work 9 hours, if while he works, his entire thought is that I'm doing it for the sake of Hashem, because I'm going to take the money that I earned and I'm going to buy kosher food, and buy food for Shabbat, and send my kids to a yeshiva, my entire money is going to Hashem, to holiness. And then the 9 hours, 10 hours that he works is becoming a service to Hashem. And of course, while he works, if he's honest, and he doesn't cheat, doesn't lie, doesn't take advantage, then it's directed to a holy realm. And like this is with everything. And even when I eat, when I sleep, I can direct it to be appointed at something holy. So one of the students asked, "But what if I'm dragged to court, and I'm sitting in court for 2 hours, or I have to go and pay a ticket or whatever, there's nothing good there. What's the kedusha over there?" I told him, if Hashem already dragged you to court, first of all, it means that where you are present, then obviously Hashem wants you to do something, and do a mitzvah there. Eat and say a bracha, maybe pull out a book of Tehillim and read some Tehillim, maybe you can do Kiddush Hashem, making Hashem's name even greater. If already Hashem dragged you there, then do something. But more than that, if already Hashem brought you there, He's hinting to you where He wants you to do tshuva. If you're sitting in court because you have to pay a ticket, then obviously, then He's hinting to you that maybe you did something wrong with money. Maybe you owe somebody money. Or maybe you took money by mistake. Or you did what's called gezel, that you made another person have a financial loss. something that has to do with money. So then you have to learn from that. So everything that Hashem puts us through, or that we do, is to learn something out of it. To light candles and to sing is very nice. I'm commemorating a miracle that happened 2,000 years ago. But I have to learn something from that. So I have to look at the actual mitzvah. I mean, because technically, we spoke about it last week. We can commemorate the miracle in a completely different way. Because we won the Greeks, so we should eat a Greek salad. And since there was a miracle with oil, so let's just put the oil on the salad. Let's just sit and have salads. And that to me makes much more sense than to light a menorah. Because we won the Greeks and we had a miracle with oil, that's it, there you have it. Let's just eat a Greek salad. And that will be the tradition. Instead of turkey and Thanksgiving, we have Greek salads. What's for dinner? Greek salad with oil. So if our sages already decided that we're going to light the candle and the way it's done, then we have to learn from that what is the hint that we see here. And the hint is very, very simple. Is that either way you're looking at it, some people, like I told you, it's a very big part of their life, the coming of Mashiach. And some people it's maybe in the back of their mind, and some people not even aware. But the reality is that Mashiach is very, very close. And there's a way to compare it so we can relate is that I mentioned a couple of times that when my wife is pregnant, we don't tell anyone that she's pregnant for many different reasons. Now, in the first 3-4 months, nobody knows she's pregnant. And we don't tell it. We don't even tell my parents, we don't tell the kids, nobody knows, just me and her. And then, of course, it starts coming out of her belly, so she will wear clothes to hide it as much as possible. So maybe people that see her know, but I don't call people and tell them, by the way, my wife is pregnant. So for all my kids were born in America, and I never called anyone outside and tell them, by the way, my wife is pregnant. I would call a week or two before and tell them, by the way, my wife is due, and we're going to have a baby. So and that was, all the way we would push it till the end. And very few people we will really actually tell them that she's pregnant. So I don't even know why we sidetracked to the pregnancy.
About a miracle, I guess.
No.
Things aren't obvious.
Oh, thank you. So some people, the coming of Mashiach is very, very obvious to them. And their entire life is evolving around the fact that any second Mashiach can come. So you see how I get excited, I hear the jets, I'm like, okay, maybe now. That's like when, the woman is in the 9th month, when she goes, to call the cab, we're going. So I hear jets, I'm like, okay, maybe the Mashiach is coming. So why am I comparing it to that? Because some people, it's very obvious to them the Mashiach is coming. But some people are like these relatives that I tell them a day before, or some relatives or friends that I have, I just call and tell them, by the way, Mazal Tov, I just had a baby. And they're like, what? Your wife was pregnant? Why didn't you tell me? I didn't tell you. So some people, they will get the surprise that Mashiach came, like these relatives that they get a phone call and says, oh, I just had a baby. So, but either way you're looking at it, Mashiach is coming, and at the end of the day, one way or another, deep down inside, whether I know about it or not, we all want Mashiach to come already. And I mentioned it so many times that everybody has challenges. And the reason why we have these challenges is not to make our life hard, or not to what people think that Hashem is punishing me or torturing me. The challenges that we have is to make me realize that I have to do an action. Because if everything would be good, if I had millions of dollars in the bank account, and a beautiful house, and a lot of free time, and no health problems, everything would be perfect, you think I would be so observant? I would be busy spending my money. I wouldn't even think of Hashem. I wouldn't even bother to come to the shul. I would go maybe once a week to pay my dues. So unfortunately, Hashem is giving us options. He says, I'm going to give you two options. One option, just do it voluntarily, and if not, then I'm going to have to do another option, and I'm going to have to squeeze you a little bit. And the Talmud says that if we do tshuva, then right away we get redeemed. But if we don't do tshuva, the verse, how the Talmud says it, it says, I'm going to put on them a king to rule over them, that his decrees are going to be worse than Haman. Haman wanted to kill us. And I'm going to make them do tshuva. So we all go through challenges. And most people go through 10 challenges at the same time. Hashem is not punishing you. And don't start to try to figure out. A lot of people say, oh, I did this, so this is happening because of that. And you can't track why something is happening. I mean, you definitely need to make an evaluation. Something happens, you want to make an evaluation. Maybe I did do something wrong.
And this is the million-dollar question. It's not about Holocaust. It's about recent tragedy in New York.
I mean, you can ask that. There's tragedies every day.
The family is observant family. They lead the menorah.
You know, first of all, there's no answers. We don't have an answer. You know, a few years ago, also there was a whole family that died. There's no answers. What we need to take from that is a question, not an answer. And the question is, what can I do to prevent something like this from happening? Because we are all guarantors to each other. The fact that they were observant, it doesn't mean anything. It means that it can be somebody on the other side of the world that is not observant, that did a certain action, and somebody, you know, if you take a stone now and you throw it into a market full of people, the stone will hit somebody, and the person will suddenly get a stone, doesn't even know where it comes from. So that's how it works. This is exactly the concept of Hanukkah. That's why you see there's sometimes, unfortunately, tragedies on Hanukkah.
But on a physical level, how long is the oil burning so it may cause the fire?
I don't know how the fire caused. Could be that I remember in the last time was a curtain caught on fire. So I don't know how something like this happens, because for an entire house to burn down, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, it was Hashem's will, and when Hashem wants something to happen, He will make it happen. So the question is not to ask why it happened, rather to say, okay, I see a tragedy. Obviously, Hashem wants us to wake up, and the way Hashem wants us to wake up, I got yesterday maybe 500 emails and text messages, say Tehillim to these people. So why am I only getting these 500 emails when somebody's in intensive care? Why can't you wake up in such love to another person when everything is normal? And everybody suddenly, when there's a big tragedy, it's sad. I mean, it's nice to see that everybody wants to join and to pray and to be part of it. But it's sad that why are you waiting for a tragedy to happen to get united and to sit and pray for somebody else who else bring? Remind me if the water there is boiling, maybe just turn, we heat it up. Just the left button turn off. Thank you. We don't have a fire here. That's for shalom. The point is that it's always happens by Hashgacha Pratit that really you see that after such a tragedy, if you don't know what we're talking about, yesterday a whole family in Brooklyn, there was a big fire. I think the mother and 4 kids died.
The mother and 2 kids, and the 2 and the father are in the...
Yeah, so the mother and 2 kids died, and the father and another 2 kids are in a critical condition. So
the mother's father was a big rabbi there. They moved from Ashdod.
I don't know, but unfortunately another tragedy strikes. But again, this is for us to wake up and this is exactly the theme of Hanukkah, and this is exactly what I wanted to talk about, is that we're so busy with our own challenges and our own problems that we forget about other people's problems. And it's not that I don't need to deal with my problems, but all these challenges are specifically to wake me up. And the way it works, I told you that many times, that Hashem just wants us to give and to help other people. And I gave you once an example, I'll repeat it again, that not too long ago, a lady from the community, unfortunately her husband was hitting her. So she ran to our house at 1 o'clock in the morning with the baby, banging on our door. And of course, it wasn't a nice scene. Police came, and the whole house was full of policemen, and the husband was threatening, and calls and phone calls, and a whole drama. And of course, my wife and me are up all night. And then she ended up sleeping on our couch, and both my wife and me didn't get much of sleep. And in the morning, I had to cancel, not to cancel, but to push off one of the meetings that I had. Later on, when I came to the meeting, and the individual asked me, why did you have to push the meeting? So I told him what happened. And I told him, this young lady ran to our house, we had to protect her, and then the police came, and they had to take our testimony, and the police was there because the husband was threatening, and they were looking for him. I told him, and so he tells me, doesn't it bother you that a lady comes to your house in the middle of the night, wakes the whole house up, and police comes into your house, and then she sleeps on your couch, and it totally distracts your entire life. And then you don't sleep, and your whole day is messed up. Told me, it doesn't bother you? I told him, no, it doesn't bother me, because when I'm busy taking care of other people's problems, then Hashem takes care of my problems. And I don't mind. And this is exactly what Hashem is trying to hint to us. We all have problems. We all have challenges. Every individual. Each one comes in a different department. And I know I might sound like a broken record, but the point is because it has to be brought to awareness. Everybody has problems. I have a parable / joke that I say, that there was this individual who was a very good-hearted individual, very God-fearing, observant Jew. Like you said yesterday, they were observant. So my story also, the hero was observant, unbelievable Jew. But unfortunately, he had the most bad luck ever. He was like a nebuch. Everything went wrong. Never had money. All the time there was problems, sicknesses, and issues. Very, very hard life. And at some point, at the end of their life, he walks down to the street, he gets run over, and dies. He goes up to the heavens, and sits there, an angel with big wings, and he tells him, how can I help you? What's your name? He tells him, my name is Shmerel, and what happened to you? He says, I just got run over, and I died. I'm here. So he says, okay, wait there, sit there, and we'll take care of you soon. There's also bureaucracy in Shamayim. It's like Misrad Apnim. So then he tells him, listen, I want to see the Kadosh Baruch Hu. I have a complaint to file. The angel tells him, what do you think? Is you just walk into the boss? He says, no, I did everything that Hashem told me to do. And every mitzvah I did in the best way, and I was always particular about everything. And you know what? I had the worst life. I want to complain. So he says, okay, no problem. I'll take you in. He takes him into Hashem. Hashem says, no, Vaksha Shmerel, what do you have to say? He tells him, I know, it's not fair. I did everything you told me to do. I did all the mitzvot. I learned Torah. I always was kind to people. And look at my life. Look at how bad my life was. So Hashem tells him, what do you want? He says, you know what, it's not fair. I want a second chance. I want to have a near-death experience and go back now and have a video on YouTube, and I want to have a second chance. So Hashem says, okay, no problem. I will give you a second chance. I will make you go back. But you know the rule. Everybody has to have problems. So you gotta have some type of problems down there. Nobody has a smooth life. So the person says, okay, I agree, I accept, but can I choose my problems? Hashem says, no problem, no problem, I'll give you that. You can choose your own problems. Go out, take the second left, go down the hall, there's a door there, knock on the door, an angel will open the door, tell him I sent you, and you can choose your problems. So he goes down the corridor, knocks on the door, an angel opens, he tells him, my name is Shmerel, God sent me to choose my problems. Okay, he takes him in to this huge warehouse that looks like a Home Depot, and aisles and aisles, just a lot of aisles, and very, very high up, and all he sees is like shelves with bags, big bags, small bags, wide bags, thin bags, all sorts of size bags. He tells the angels, what is all these bags? The angel tells him, this is bags of problems. So he says, okay, so I can choose my own, right? Yeah? He was running up and down the aisles, he's moving bags, he's like, this time I'm going to take care of myself, and he's picking up the bags and he's really searching. Finally, after hours of searching, at the end, in a corner, he sees like something peeking, he moves like a big bag, and he sees like his little bag. He says, oh, I want to take this one. Takes the bag, comes to the angel, tells the angel, I selected this one. The angel scans it, the barcode, gives him a receipt, go to God. He comes to God all happy, and Hashem tells him, no, you chose a bag of problems. He says, yes, this one. So Hashem says, oh, I see you chose already the bag that you owned before. So we all have problems, and we all have challenges, and we all have a bumpy ride, but it's not for us to whine and to complain. It's to realize that everybody has problems, and you know what? If I can find how to help somebody else, that will reduce my problems. And this is the whole theme of what Chanukah is trying to hint to me, that we want to reach to the time of Mashiach. And in order for us to do that, we had 2,000 years in exile to do a lot of mitzvot and to learn a lot of Torah. We did everything we needed to do. Now we're missing one last point, that we're missing the unity between us. On an average day, then I don't have much respect and love for every individual around me. Because this guy doesn't talk like me, this guy doesn't dress like me, this guy has an accent, this guy is from this group, this guy is from that group, and we don't really like each other, let's put it this way. Now yesterday with this tragedy with the family being burnt, I told you, I'm not exaggerating, I got like hundreds of text messages and emails, please read Tehillim and all their names. I can guarantee to you that there wasn't one person that asked, wait a minute, before I'm reading Tehillim for these poor souls, are there Ashkenaz or they're Sephardi? Oh, if they're Sephardi, I don't want to read Tehillim for them. I can guarantee to you that there was not one person in the world that did such a thing. People got the email, they got their text message, whatever it is, they opened the book of Tehillim, they mentioned the names and started reading Tehillim for them. I can guarantee to you that nobody asked, wait a minute, wait, before I pray for somebody, can I see their blood type? Can I know from which group they belong to? Oh, they have a black yarmulke. No, I'm not reading Tehillim for them. So, obviously when we're in trouble, we don't start asking questions.
Right.
Unfortunately, sometimes, I hope we're not going to have to experience it again, but unfortunately, every couple years, there's some type of a little war going on in Israel. Baruch Hashem, in the last 11 years, there wasn't a big war. So they're like these little wars. Any war is a war. They call it a mission or whatever it is, but the last few years, we had a few in Gaza. And 11 years ago was the Second Lebanon War, which was a little war, but there's a lot of casualties and a lot of wounded. And everybody gets together to read Tehillim for the soldiers. People were, they adopted a soldier, and they read Tehillim for that soldier all day long. And there's a miracle, a beautiful story, videos running around in the internet, how somebody was in a restaurant, and the waiter, the name was familiar, I don't remember all the details, and happened to be that the woman that was reading Tehillim, she met the soldier, something like that. when we're in trouble, nobody's asking, wait a minute, who's the soldier I'm reading for? Is he observant? Oh, no, he's not observant. No. Is he Ashkenazi? No, I don't want to read Tehillim for him. Give me a Sephardi one. So, why can't we be united and without this selection on a regular basis? Why do we have to have a tragedy to bring us to our senses that it doesn't matter who you are and where you came from? You ask why Hashem is doing these tragedies? I can't answer in the name of Hashem. I do not know why Hashem does such a tragedy. I can tell you one thing that I do know is that I see unity after a tragedy. And what I don't understand is why can't we be united before a tragedy? Why do we have to come to a tragedy? We have to be united when everything is normal. Now, united, I'm not telling you to love every individual in the world. But you don't have to hate, you don't have to be judgmental, you don't have to segregate, you don't have to be arrogant or pretentious or whatever it is because somebody's from somewhere else. And again, I don't have to be in love with all the world, but I need to make space for other people. I need to let other people shine in their environment. And this is the unity that Hashem is trying for us to understand. And we don't seem to understand it. That's why you see that the beautiful hint in the holiday of Hanukkah is that the motion of the mitzvah is to light candles. And I mentioned it already a couple times in the last classes, that specifically we're lighting it with fire and not spreading olive oil on a salad, because fire has a unique character that doesn't matter how much you're going to give from it, it doesn't lose out. You'll pour wine from your bottle to somebody's cup, you'll lose out. You'll be in a deficit. You give money, you give whatever you give. Fire, you can give as much as you want. You're never going to lose. Hashem is telling us, in other words, you want to light up the world, you have to light up other people's worlds. It's not about me. This is the holiday of being humble. That's why we don't have too much of a hoo-ha going on in this holiday. So teach you, just be humble. Be simple. And your agenda has to be that you want to light other people's darkness. And don't worry, you can give as much as you want. You're not going to suffer from that. You're not going to lack by giving out from what you have. And really this is the theme of the holiday. And we have 8 days to charge my soul. I mean, we're still in the 7th day. We still have another full day to charge my soul. Why? Because for the rest of the year, I should have the ability that when I see somebody else in darkness, in a state of darkness, then I have to light him up. So what if it will take over my sleeping hours? Or maybe I'm not going to be so inconvenient when somebody's in my living room. Or I'll have a little bit less money in my pocket. But Hashem says, I want you to go out of your limitation to light somebody else's darkness. Can you imagine how good you can make a person feel just by letting them talk or get a 5 minute of fame to say what they want to say or to make them feel special? That's what Hashem wants us to do. He's not asking us too much. He's just saying, I want you to go out of your realm of it's about me. I am now suffering. There's a couple that I'm trying to help them in they don't have such a smooth marriage life, and I keep telling them, you should do this, you should do that. And I constantly telling them they have a lot of problems with finance, and I tell them, listen, unfortunately you don't have full-time jobs, so take your time and donate your time. No, I'm too occupied, I'm to this, I'm to that. I said, Hashem is giving you an opportunity. You obviously don't have full-time jobs, you don't have kids, you have a lot of free time. So instead of whining that you have problems, then take that free time and give it to somebody else. Make somebody else have a little bit of happiness in their life. Make sure that you're putting a smile on somebody else's face. Trust me, Hashem is going to put a smile on your face if you're going to go out of your box to make somebody else a little bit happy. Trust me, it will come back to you. You're not going to lose anything. So unfortunately, we're suffering from all sorts of these syndromes of ego and arrogance and jealousy and I'm more important than anything else. We need to overpower that. We need to rise above that. That's how we're going to receive the redemption. That's how these tragedies are going to stop. Hashem, I don't know why He chooses a sacrifice for us to learn. Now, if something like this happens in our nation, and we're not able to wake up and to do tshuva, then we miss the point. I can guarantee to you that there's probably a couple, tens of thousands of chapters of Tehillim are read in the last 24 hours, how it's spreading everywhere and on the media to read Tehillim. And we're reading Tehillim or dedicating a class to somebody we don't even know. But still, it's part of us, it's part of our nation. It's another person. And when you do something for somebody that you don't know, that's how special it is. That's what convinces the Kadosh Baruch Hu to say, oh, they do deserve the redemption. They care about each other. They're not self-centered about their own reality, and they're willing to go out of their way to help somebody else. You know, Baruch Hashem, here we have a lot of things going on here. We have big meals here and classes and events, and I don't ask for anybody to do anything, but there's some smart people that say, let me help. Good, you want to help? We'll never ask anybody to stay and help. Some smart people, they say, I want to be part of the mitzvah. I want to be involved in the mitzvah and I want to help. Whether it's cleaning after a meal, whether it's putting things away, whether it's carrying shopping, whether it's doing shopping. So, specifically I say some smart people say, oh, I want to be involved in the mitzvah. Not too long ago I gave a lecture and I mentioned that unfortunately many people, they fail in a sin that is called gezel. Gezel is to take something from somebody and it causes them a financial loss, and it's not stealing. If I work for somebody and I work on a hourly base, and during that time that I work, I check my messages, I go on my Facebook, I check my WhatsApp, I answer calls, and it's all my private things. This is gezel. I'm stealing from my boss time, because he's paying me for my time. He's paying me the $10, $20, $30 an hour for my time, and if I have the chutzpah to go check my messages while I'm working, this is gezel. I'm taking from him time because he's paying me. If the boss tells me you are allowed, that's a whole different thing. But I can't sit during my time that I'm getting paid by the hour and schmooze. This is gezel. This is one type of gezel. I gave you different examples. You can walk into a store and take these little bags of ketchup because tomorrow you have a picnic. If you didn't ask permission, that's gezel. That's not stealing. You just walked in and you took it. So gezel is a very severe sin, very hard to rectify it. So I gave a class about gezel and I mentioned a way to fix gezel because you took something from somebody and he doesn't even know that he's at loss. When somebody breaks into your house at night, chas v'shalom, you see, oh, they stole the watch, and now the watch is missing. If I'm a business owner, and I'm just giving you again the example of the ketchup, you think he counts them? Because my customers, they can take as many ketchup bags as they want. I don't count my ketchups. But now you took it without my knowledge. You caused me a financial damage. I don't even know about it. This is gezel. I can now work, like I told you, on an hourly base. The boss doesn't know that I'm on my WhatsApp or on my Facebook. He doesn't know. I have to be honest and say, okay, I take 10 minutes out of my time. I check my own messages. Usually a normal boss will say, listen, you get here and there an email, fine. Can't be all day long on the phone. So, very hard to fix gezel. So I mentioned in that lecture, one of the ways to fix gezel is to specifically, and this is not, I didn't invent that, I went to a very big rabbi at the time and he told me that, he told me, make sure that you feed people on Shabbat. Because the food on Shabbat is a mitzvah, and you're giving something to somebody you might not even know, and you're, so to say, rectifying the fact that you took something from somebody that he doesn't know. And he told me, feed people on Shabbat. And for years, when I had a business, I was the supporter for 3 shuls. I would support the Shabbat Kiddush. And nobody even knew that me. And it's not that I gave money to the rabbi. I bought the food. It's much easier to write a check, but to carry the food, it's harder. I would come and give food to the shul. And up until today, I don't know how much, I did a lot of gezel. I don't know when I'm going to finish my tikkun. So up until today, then I feed people on Shabbat. So one of the people in the crowd said, but I don't feed people on Shabbat. I don't even have the option. How can I don't have a Shabbat table. And even if I do, what do I feed? I get one guest. So I told them, if you don't have a Shabbat table, then participate in a Sudat Shabbat. Either buy the food, or either come and peel the potatoes, or carry the shopping, or stay after the meal and clean. Participate in the meal. So that's what I said before. Some smart people, they want to take part of a mitzvah. They want to be involved in it because I have a connection. So not too long ago, we had somebody who volunteered, in quotes, to help, and as a token of appreciation, I helped him with something else. And he was so bitter, and he came and says, I helped so much, that's how you reward me?
Oh my.
I told him, reward you? I need to reward you? Excuse me for the term, you need to kiss my tuchas that I'm allowing you to even help me and be participating in my mitzvah. I can turn the ball the other way around. Of course, I'm being exaggerating here, but I said, I need to reward you? You came and offered to help by saying, I want to be participating in the mitzvah. Fine, join. You're expecting a reward? Then if you're expecting a reward, don't go up to Shamayim and ask for the mitzvah. Because they'll tell you in Shamayim, you got your reward. Shut up. Don't ask for the mitzvah right now. But he came in such a not nice way, this is how you're rewarding me? I told him, what do you mean this is how you did the mitzvah to do the mitzvah, or you did the mitzvah to get the reward? If you did the mitzvah to get the reward, then just say, I worked and I want to get paid. So I'll hire you. I'll give you X amount of money per hour, and you'll be a worker, and I'll hire you to do the job, and you can't flag in Shamayim that you did a mitzvah. You did a job. And you got paid for it, here's your money, and that's it. And I'll decide if I want you as a worker or not. But if you're coming to volunteer your time, and you're saying, I want to participate, don't expect a reward. Don't expect to get something out of it. And that's the problem of many people, is that when they have already the agenda of helping, in the back of their mind is that, what is in it for me? And I need to get rewarded here. I worked a lot of hours. So this is not how you do a mitzvah. A mitzvah is for the sake of the mitzvah, not if you get rewarded, fine. And if not, if it constantly in the back of your mind is the reward here, then don't say you did a mitzvah. Just say that I worked and I want a reward. I want to get paid. So same thing here, that Hashem constantly wants us to give out of ourselves, and not to later on say, but I helped you last month, now help me. Or I scratch your back, you scratch mine. This is not the giving. The giving is that I give from the bottom of my heart for the sake of giving. And that's the theme of the holiday of Hanukkah, is that I have to understand that it's all about giving. It's not about taking, it's not about receiving, it's not about gain, it's not about what is in it for me. It's all about giving. The entire world is based on the fact as what can I give? If I come to a shul, to a community, to a class, to whatever it is, and my agenda is what am I taking, then you're not going to get anything. You're going to come, sit, waste time, go out, gain zero. That's how it works. But if anything that you go in and you're saying, what can I contribute, where can I give, that's when you gain the most. And this is the borderline where people miss, because we're a creature of a very selfish creature. And what am I getting out of it? How am I gaining something here, or what is my benefit here? Now, Hanukkah is coming to tell me, be humble, and you see that we have a very special hint specifically with the oil. The oil is a very unique liquid, that anything that you put it in, it will float above. but when you burn it, it dissolves and becomes part of the food. And this is what the mitzvah is hinting to me. You have to you have to have a quality that you know knows how to rise up. But don't let it go up to your head that it becomes your ego and you feel that you're above everybody. You're not above anybody. When you chas v'shalom, when the oil is boiled or burnt, you are becoming one of you are part of everything. So the oil is coming to signify, don't let it get to your head. Don't think you're above anybody. You're not above anybody. Maybe you have a few character traits or a few qualities that you're better. That doesn't mean that you're above somebody. That's the problem, is that some people, they think that they're above other people, and their entire way of dealing with things is, no, I'm above you. You have to thank me that I'm helping you. Again, comes the Torah specifically on this one. It tells me, first of all, you're not above anybody. You're as equal to everybody. Everybody's equal. And the point is, it's all about seeing that we all have to be united. And this is the theme of the holiday that I need to take from these 8 days. If I sat every day next to the menorah for half an hour, whether I feel it or not, I absorbed some of this light. Some people feel it, some people don't. Some people just feel the extra 10 pounds of all the donuts. But they don't feel the benefit that was derived from the candles. But even if I do feel it, or whether I don't, I need to internalize that now I gain some type of a power, that my agenda, my daily agenda, should be, how can I make somebody's life better? How can I give out of myself, out of my time, my knowledge, my money, my patience, whatever it is, to light somebody else's life? And not to have the thought is, what is in it for me? Am I going to get a reward here, or am I going to get some type of a compensation? If I'm going into it with that attitude, I'm not going to get nothing. And I'm definitely not going to be able to call it a mitzvah. So the point I want to take from that is that this is what I need to apply now in my life. And don't come and say, oh, I have my own challenges to deal with. I don't have time to deal with somebody else's challenge. Because I told you, the more you deal with somebody else's problem, your problems will be taken care of. And don't for 1 second live in denial by saying, I don't have problems. This is not problems. I mean, you can call it a problem, you can call it a challenge, you can call it an obstacle, call it however you want. But we all deal with things that we would want to somehow remove it from our agenda, from my life. The only way to fight something like this is to go out and give from myself to somebody else. And like I told you before, the rule, you busy giving to somebody else, you dealing with somebody else's problems, as Hashem deals with your problems. And now in Chanukah, I've charged, and I still have another day and a half to charge my neshama with the ability to understand it's all about giving to somebody else. It's all about giving. And I'm the one that really gains is only me. And when I'm constantly in the motion of taking, I don't gain anything. I might temporarily or momentarily gain something, but not more than that. So we want to take this auspicious time to charge our neshama in the ability to apply it and to know that the redemption is depending on that. And when I see a tragedy like yesterday, each and every one of us has to say, okay, what can I do to either prevent it, or what can I do so that we're not going to have to suffer this anymore? I can't talk to in the name of Hashem, but I think I have a good feeling that Hashem does things like that. So for us to realize, to get a reality check, excuse me? Excuse me? Yesterday in Brooklyn, a family, there was a big fire probably from the Chanukiah, and a mother and 2 kids, they died, and the father and the other 2 kids are in critical condition. The whole family. So, I mean, a few years ago, there was another family that I think it was a Shabbat, the entire family, Hashem Yerachem, was burned, and the father was stayed. So we mentioned, why does Hashem will do such a thing, and especially on a holiday, and especially coming from a Chanukiah or a mitzvah? And I mentioned that I got hundreds and hundreds of emails and SMS messages, read Tehillim with their names. And I mentioned, I'm sure that there's not one Jew around the world that got that message that says, excuse me, before I'm reading Tehillim, is that individual that is now in critical condition, is he Sephardi or Ashkenaz? If he's Sephardi, I don't know if I want to read Tehillim for him. No. What is his opinion in regards to halacha? Oh, if it doesn't fit my halacha opinion, then maybe I should not read Tehillim for him. So I can guarantee to you that there's not one person in the world that said such a thing. You see a tragedy, you open the book and you start reading Tehillim. And this is the reality check that Hashem is throwing in our face, that doesn't matter who the other people are, where they're from, which group they associate themselves with, how they're dressed, how they're pronouncing the words, and so forth. This is irrelevant. So we definitely want to benefit from the power of Chanukah, that it's all about lighting other people's darkness. It's about the bringing the unity. It's about humbling myself. It's about me giving. All these things that the holiday is hinting to me, that I need to apply now. And believe it or not, I do have the charge. I charged my neshama now in Chanukah, whether I notice it or not, to apply it. Now I have to bring it into action. If I do something and I learn something, or I benefit from something, and I don't put it into action, then I'm losing it. I'm going to lose the power of it. And at the end of the day, we all want the redemption to come smooth and fast. We have to apply it. And each and every one of us has to do their own cheshbon nefesh, their own calculation. How am I participating here? So I'll take half an hour out of my day to do something. An hour out of my day, whatever it is. A certain amount out of my money to contribute, to participate. But that's the way we need to have our attitude. And the danger here that we need to avoid is, what is in it for me? There's nothing in it for me. I'm doing it for the sake of Hashem. I'm doing it for the sake of the Klal Israel, for the sake of the Shekhinah that is in exile. It's not here about gaining something. I'm not here to gain anything, and I'm not here to benefit anything. It's just for the sake of doing. And it can be in my home. Sometimes it's just me helping my wife for the sake of helping my wife because she worked hard. Or whatever it is. And it can be in my home, can be in my community, can be in a global level. But we have to completely annul this what is in it for me attitude. Because it's not about me. It's totally not about me. It's about the next one. That's why there's an argument in Halakha. One opinion says we have to light the candles from 8 going down, starting on the first day 8 and then 7, 6, 5, etc. Another opinion says no, we have to go up like we do right now. One opinion says no, you light them all together. Why should we ascend or descend? Light them all together. So we go by halakha that we start with 1 and we light 2 and then 3 and then 4. This is called la'alot b'kodesh, that we add in kedusha, but also to hint that every day we adding 1, it's 1 lighting another one, and lighting another one. So this is the theme of Chanukah. And now since Chanukah is about to be over, I have to make a quick analogy in my mind. What am I taking out of this holiday and how am I applying it? So we have a little instructions what to do. Now we just need to apply it. Bezrat Hashem, if we're able to apply it in the right way, and again, it doesn't mean you have to give up over your life. Just applying something in your life, I can guarantee to you that we'll see the redemption coming in a much faster and smoother way. Bezrat Hashem, this will cause us to actually see the real lighting of the menorah in Bet HaMikdash, when we can realize that we're all one big nation. We're all united. It's all about bringing unity and togetherness between us. Bezrat Hashem should be successful. Enjoy the last day of Chanukah. And we should really be successful in our mission in creating this unity and oneness between, whether it's a small unit or a big unit or an entire nation.